Welcome back to the channel. My name's Cody. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate your support. This channel revolves around sharing my business adventures and how they can apply to you and speed you along. Today, I want to share how I've made all of my money and what you need to do to make a lot more money than you're making right now. It's 2 steps. That's it. I like to keep things super simple. Number 1, you need to figure out what your idea is. There have been periods of time where I had nothing going on 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Except for, I was coaching gymnastics. I had a part-time job. But I was just focused in my head mentally. I might have been having conversations, but I was only focused on what am I going to do? What's the idea? For your situation, whatever you may have a competitive advantage in, you may not think you have any advantage. That's not true. But that may be how you feel right now. You need to figure out what your idea is going to be. And the nice thing is, whatever it is, ideas are endless. If you don't think it's realistic given your pieces, you can come up with a different idea. And I would just spend, on a personal level, I would spend 3, 4, 5 days thinking, what am I going to do? What is the next logical step? What's the idea that is going to move me forward? And in real estate, originally, I thought it was going to be, I can make money as a real estate agent. That idea, what's true, I did make some money as a real estate agent. And then I figured out, Central Washington, Moses Lake, Grant County. I could start meeting up with owners, meet with people that are farther ahead of me. And I'm just going to try and meet with them as many times as I can, and something may come out of it. So the idea, what was the idea that was going to set me free? It was going to be to meet with people that have done what I want to do. In your situation, that's probably going to be the case, but it might be a different application, which is the second piece here. When you come up with an idea, whatever industry you want to be in, whatever project you want to take on, if you don't have the skills, which I definitely didn't have the skills, you need to figure out, how am I going to execute on this? When it came down for me meeting up with people in Grant County, which was the option I had back then, at least what I felt was most likely to work, what I had to do, I didn't have any skills. I just had to drive. I would drive 3 hours one direction, have a 15-minute coffee meeting. I didn't think to book multiple meetings in those days. I was just getting started. Eventually I started doing that, but I would just have one meeting, and then I'd drive back another 3 hours. That was my version of executing on my plan. If that doesn't fit your pieces, you need to figure out what you'd have to do or who you'd have to work with and collaborate with to execute on the plan. Because it's one thing to have an idea, and unfortunately, an idea will not get you everything you want. You do have to execute on it, but you have to start with the idea, which is why I mentioned that as step 1. Step 2 is figuring out who you need or what you need to do to actually execute and manage your plan. Money is made in management. Money is made when you can go from an idea to the execution. And most people miss that. Most people will come up with an idea and it'll just stay there. It'll be written down on a notepad or it'll be in their head. The amount of time between your idea and your execution determines the likelihood you're going to exceed your expectations and actually profit. You have to figure out how to take time out of that equation. But the most important thing is coming up with an idea and sticking to it. It's easy to get the shiny object syndrome. I know I fell into that. You don't want to do that. Come up with an idea, stick with it, and see how much time you can take out between the creation of that idea and the commitment to actually getting through and figuring out, who do I need to work with, or what do I need to do on a personal level to start achieving that goal. I've made videos in the past talking about 1 day at a time. That's exactly what I mean here. You're not going to get it overnight. There's no silver bullet coming for you to save you. But if you execute and get a little bit better each day, you start moving towards becoming a better manager of the pieces you have in front of you, you can make a lot of money, and you can do it ethically and in a reasonable amount of time. It's not going to take you 10 years. You could probably do it in 2 to 3. But it's going to come down to locking in on your idea and putting the right people in the right seats to get there. You don't have to do it all on your own. You can do it all on your own. But it is helpful to acknowledge that this is a management game. It's not just an idea game. Just coming up with $1 million idea may not make you a millionaire. You do have to actually get the right people doing the right things. And for me, that was reliant on a few strategic partnerships to really scale. People that took the management piece, which I didn't know anything about. I had to work with people that were a little bit older than me, that had a little bit more life experience, a little bit more business experience. But they handled that part on the front end. I got to learn along the way, and now I'm where I'm at and can do stuff on my own. And I can still do stuff in partnerships, but that's the essence of how you're going to make your money. You come up with the idea. You can be the idea person. There's a lot of people out there that don't come up with these ideas. If you do, you need to connect with the people that have a little bit more skills and experience to help you manage and execute on your plan. If you can do that, you can make a ton of money in a reasonable period of time. I hope that helps. That condenses what I've done over the last 5 years. So I went from $3,000 to multiple seven-figure net worth. And net worth isn't something that you should just focus on. You should focus on what it produces for you, because it's not about having a bunch of equity in anything. It's about being able to do what you want when you want. So focusing on that freedom. But both of those things start with a plan. You got to come up with what the idea is. There's a lot less people with ideas that are willing to connect with folks than there are people that are looking for that idea person. So if you can find the person that's really looking for that idea, that doesn't have it, you come up with it, they've got the business skills, you can move forward very fast, relative to fast as a few years versus decades of saving for a retirement. And it can set you ahead and help you get where you want to go in life financially. That's it for today's video. If you didn't subscribe for me, subscribe for Hershey. I post every Tuesday and Thursday on my business adventures. I do not edit. And that's about it. So I appreciate the support.